Hey guys, tonight we're going to explore a village unlike any other place, where time itself has forgotten to move, where the people live in eternal youth, their faces unchanged year after year. Imagine waking up in a world where you've never aged, where every day is the same as the one before, and the only thing that reminds you of time passing is the subtle feeling that something might be a little dot off. It's not just the villagers that remain ageless. The buildings, the fields, and the trees seem to stand still in time, like a well-preserved painting. There's no decay, no wear. The stone pathways are as pristine as the first day they were laid, and the flowers in the fields are forever in bloom, their colors vibrant and unchanging. You probably won't survive this kind of eternity, trust me. It might sound nice at first, but eventually you'd wish for something a little more transient, something that changes. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I'd love to know where you're listening from, so post your location and the time in your area in the comments. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you open your eyes this morning, the first thing you notice is the perfect stillness of everything. The same birds are chirping outside your window, and the same soft sunlight pours through the trees, casting long shadows on the cobblestone streets of the village. You feel the weight of the moment, the way everything seems locked in place, as though time itself has paused. The chill in the air is the same as it was yesterday, and the familiar hum of the village's daily life plays in the background. Stretching, you stand up and glance out the window. Everything looks just like it always has. The houses, though aged in appearance, are solid, weathered by the years but never decaying. The same people you see every day, each one with the same youthful faces, go about their tasks, seemingly unaware of the strange peace this place has. You know the story, just like everyone else. You know this village is a place where people do not age, where the seasons pass without changing the people in them. Time moves, yes, but not here. You've lived here your entire life, or at least it feels that way. You've never known anything different. The villagers have never aged. The children remain children. The elders remain wise and youthful. The farmers continue to tend their fields year after year. It's like being caught in a dream where every day is the same, and yet there's an underlying feeling that something essential is missing. The village is beautiful, serene, and self-sustaining, but something nags at you. Why don't you get older? As you begin your day, you take the same route through the village square. You pass the market, where the same vendors sell their wares. Old Tom still runs the bakery, and his daughter Emily is behind the counter as she's been every morning for as long as you can remember. Her smile is just as bright and youthful as the first time you met her, but you can't help but wonder, has she ever really changed? You stop for a moment at the bakery's door and chat with Emily, just as you have hundreds of times before. She talks about the same recipes, the same weather forecast, the same plans for the afternoon. There's a certain comfort in this, but also an unsettling sameness. No one ever ages, no one ever leaves, and you begin to wonder why. You walk on down the same path, past the old oak tree where you once played as a child. The village seems suspended in time. It's beautiful, yes, but it's also suffocating. A gentle, invisible force holds everyone in place, and while the community thrives, there's no room for change. Everyone you've known, from the children to the elders, remain as they always have been, frozen in this perfect, eternal state of being. And as you walk through the village, past the marketplace, and toward the familiar hills where you often go to reflect, the truth starts to settle in. Something is different today. You feel the weight of it in the air. The feeling of being trapped in this unchanging moment, where the future never seems to come, and the past never seems to leave. This village, this place, where no one ages, has a secret. And for the first time, you're starting to feel it. You're beginning to wonder what lies beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect life. Today, you're going to search for the answer. The sun hangs lazily in the sky as you leave the village square, the cool morning air brushing against your skin. The path ahead is as familiar as your own heartbeat. You follow it, step by step, past the same fields, the same cottages, and the same trees you've seen all your life. But today, there's a subtle shift in how you see everything. It's like a veil has been lifted, and the perfection of it all feels more like a cage than a sanctuary. You've always loved the simplicity of this village, the unchanging nature of it all. But now, you're beginning to see it for what it is. A world frozen in time. A world where everyone, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, remains untouched by the passing of years. It's not natural. And as you walk, your mind races with questions. Why doesn't anyone age? Why do the seasons pass, but the people remain the same? The answer, you sense, lies somewhere in the village itself, in the heart of this perfect, timeless world. The hills ahead are quiet, almost inviting. The ones who've come before you have walked these paths without question, enjoying the serenity, never wondering what lies beyond the borders of this eternal existence. But not you. You feel that restless pull in your chest, the urge to know more, to dig deeper, to understand how this strange world keeps running. As you reach the hilltop, you pause for a moment to take in the view. From this vantage point, the entire village sprawls out beneath you, its cobbled streets and stone buildings shining in the midday sun. The river glints like silver, winding its way around the village, and the surrounding forest is thick with life. It's all so picturesque, so perfect, and yet you feel a sense of unease settling into your bones. Looking around, your eyes fall on the village's old stone well, the one at the very center of the town square. It's an unremarkable feature in the landscape, just another of the countless elements that make the village what it is. But there's something about it today that strikes you, something about the well that seems to be calling to you. You've passed it thousands of times, but never before have you noticed how it seems to pulse with an almost invisible energy. The desire to find answers grows stronger. Your heart quickens as you make your way back toward the village, the path seeming to stretch out longer than before. You're drawn to that well, as if it holds some piece of the puzzle that has been eluding you. When you reach it, you stand for a moment in front of the stone structure, staring down into the depths. The well is old, ancient even, and it's been here since the village's founding. According to legend, it's the lifeblood of the village, providing the water that sustains everything around it. But you wonder, what else does it provide? The surface of the water ripples as a breeze passes over, distorting the reflection of the sky above. For a moment, you almost think you see something in the depths. An image flickers, a shadow, just out of reach. Your breath catches. It's nothing. Or is it? There's no one around, no villagers to stop you, no one to question what you're about to do. You lean over the edge of the well, looking down into the dark waters. The pull to look deeper is irresistible, the desire to understand what lies below the surface, growing stronger with every passing second. You've always felt a connection to the well, but today it feels more urgent, more necessary than ever before. Without hesitation, you reach out and touch the water. The moment your fingers make contact with the surface, something shifts. The world around you seems to pause. For a heartbeat, the familiar hum of the village and its inhabitants fades away, and you are alone with the stillness of the moment. The water seems to ripple with a strange energy, its coolness now feeling like a current that runs deep, not just through the well, but through everything that surrounds it. Suddenly, you hear a voice, a soft whisper, like a memory forgotten, a sound carried by the wind. It's the kind of voice you've heard 1,000 times in dreams, but never in reality. Why do you seek the truth? It asks, its tone both familiar and distant. You freeze, your heart racing. You know the voice. You've heard it before, in the quiet spaces of your mind. It is not a voice from the village. It's older, deeper, and somehow more real than anything you've ever known. I have to know, you answer, though you're not sure whether the words are your own or if they come from some other place. I need to understand why we don't age, why the village never changes. The water ripples again, and for a moment, the voice is silent. Then it speaks again, this time more clearly. Some things are meant to remain hidden. Some things are meant to be eternal. But everything comes at a cost. A chill runs through you as the words sink in. A cost? The thought gnaws at you. What is the price of this eternal existence? The villagers remain ageless, but what are they sacrificing to stay that way? Is this gift of immortality really a blessing, or is it a curse, one that has yet to reveal its true nature? Everything in time must change, the voice continues, this time soft, almost sorrowful. Nothing can remain as it is forever. But sometimes the change comes at a price too great to pay. With that, the whisper fades, and the familiar hum of the village returns. The moment passes, leaving you standing at the well, your mind spinning with more questions than answers. You don't know what just happened, but you know this was just the beginning. The mystery of your village, of its endless youth, has begun to unravel. And the more you uncover, the more you realize that there's a much darker truth lurking just beneath the surface, hidden by the very forces that have kept this place in stasis for so long. As you step away from the well, the weight of the conversation still lingers in your mind, heavy and unsettling. The world around you seems unchanged. The sun still bright in the sky, the air still crisp, but your perspective has shifted. The village, which once felt like a safe, timeless sanctuary, now seems more like a delicate facade, one that hides the complexities of existence beneath its surface. The whisper, the voice from the well, echoes in your ears, its warning haunting your every step. You walk slowly through the village, the cobblestones beneath your feet familiar, yet somehow different now. There's a new layer to everything, like a veil has been lifted. As you pass by the villagers, you notice their faces more keenly than before. Their youth is constant, their smiles as bright as ever. But now, you can't stop wondering, what is the cost of this agelessness? You catch sight of Emily again, standing at the bakery as she always does, serving freshly baked bread to the morning crowd. She smiles at you, just as she has for years, her youthful features unchanged, her eyes sparkling with the same warmth. You feel a pang of guilt at the thought that you might be questioning the very thing that has brought comfort to everyone around you. But you can't help it. The voice at the well, those cryptic words, have planted a seed of doubt that is now growing rapidly, spiraling into a tangled mess of questions you never thought to ask before. You approach her, offering a polite smile in return. She greets you warmly, as always, but today you can't shake the feeling that there's something missing. The conversation that follows is light, as it always is. She talks about the weather, her plans for the afternoon, and how well the bakery's sales are doing. It's the same routine, the same surface-level interactions. You've had this conversation 1,000 times, but today it feels different. You want to ask her about the village, about its secrets, but something holds you back. Perhaps you fear the answer, or worse, that there isn't one. "Are you all right?" Emily asks after a moment, noticing the distant look in your eyes. You hesitate, surprised by the concern in her voice. Emily's always been kind, always willing to listen, but you wonder if anyone truly understands the weight of what you're feeling now. How could they? They've never questioned the nature of this place, never felt the unease that's begun to settle in your chest. "I'm fine," you finally say, forcing a smile. "Just ... thinking." She nods, though you can tell she's not fully convinced. "Well, if you need anything, you know where to find me." You thank her and walk away, but the conversation sticks with you, the unease you're feeling growing with each passing step. You look around the village once again, seeing it through new eyes. It's as though the perfect facade of the place is starting to crack, and you can't look away from the fissures that are slowly revealing themselves. The day passes slowly, each moment feeling more weighted than the last. You can't escape the thought of the well, of the voice, and of the questions that are now constantly swirling in your mind. Why does the village remain so stagnant while the world outside changes? What is the cost of this unending youth, this immortality? Is it really a blessing, or is it a prison one that no one dares acknowledge? As the evening approaches, you find yourself drawn back to the village center. The familiar faces pass you by, but you hardly notice them anymore. The same old sights, the same steady rhythm of life today, it all feels foreign. You slip into the shadows of the marketplace, away from the bustling crowd, and there you spot something unusual, a figure you don't recognize. They're standing at the edge of the square, their face obscured by the hood of a cloak. Their posture is tense, as though they're waiting for something or someone. You can't help but feel a pull toward this stranger, a curiosity that you can't quite shake. Something about them feels different, as though they're not meant to be here. You approach cautiously, trying to remain unnoticed, but as you get closer, the figure turns. Their eyes meet yours, and for a brief moment, you're stunned. There's something oddly familiar about their gaze, though you don't recognize them. It's as if you've seen those eyes before, maybe in a dream or a fleeting memory. "Looking for answers, are we?" The figure says, their voice low, almost a whisper, but it carries an undeniable weight. You blink, taken aback by their words. "Who are you?" You ask, your voice barely above a whisper. The stranger doesn't answer right away. Instead, they take a step forward, their gaze still fixed on you. "I know what you're searching for," they finally say, "and I can help you find it, but it won't be easy." The truth about this place, it's not something that comes without consequences. A chill runs through you at their words. There's something dangerous about this conversation, something that feels like a warning, but you can't stop yourself from asking, "What do you mean?" The stranger tilts their head, studying you carefully. "I know you felt it, the unease, the questions that gnaw at you. You're not the first to seek the truth, but you'll have to choose whether to uncover the dark history of this village or remain in the comfort of ignorance. The choice is yours." You stare at them, heart pounding, the weight of their words sinking in. This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. The stranger is offering you something, a chance to uncover the truth. But is it worth the cost? Before you can say anything more, the stranger turns and walks into the shadows, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. You're left standing in the fading light of the marketplace, their words echoing in your mind. The choice is yours. For the first time, you realize that the village's secret is no longer something hidden. It's something that you are now a part of. And the decision you make next will change everything. The night settles over the village like a heavy blanket, its silence almost suffocating in its stillness. You return to your quarters, the weight of the stranger's words pressing down on you with every step. The choice is yours. But what choice? What was that stranger really offering? And what would the consequences be for uncovering the village's secret? You sit on your bed, the dim light from a single candle flickering beside you. The same quiet hum of the village fills the air-distant conversations, the sound of footsteps echoing in the streets, and the gentle rustle of the trees outside your window. It's all so peaceful, so normal. But now, every sound feels like an illusion. You can't stop thinking about the words spoken by the stranger in the marketplace. You're not the first to seek the truth. What did that mean? How many others had questioned the eternal stillness of the village? Why hadn't anyone spoken out about it? And why had the stranger approached you? The more you think about it, the more the answers seem to slip further away, like they're just out of reach. Unable to sit still any longer, you get up and walk toward the window, staring out at the village below. The streets are quiet now, the marketplace empty and still, as if it's been paused in time. The buildings remain the same, unchanged, like they've been here for centuries. But beneath that surface of eternal youth, you know something's wrong. You can feel it in the pit of your stomach. There's a price to this immortality, a cost no one wants to admit. What is it? You turn away from the window, your thoughts racing. The village has no aging, no death. But is that truly a blessing? Is it possible that the very immortality that everyone so eagerly clings to is actually a trap? You've seen the same faces for your entire life, and yet you know nothing about their pasts. What do they remember? You wonder if anyone here has ever asked themselves that question, if they've wondered why they don't age or what the cost is for this eternal life. And then you think of the elders, the ones who have been here for as long as anyone can remember. You've spoken to them before, but they always give you vague, comforting answers. Time is a gift. We live in harmony with nature. But they never answer the real questions. Why can't they get old? Why is everything around them frozen in time? You've never had the courage to press them, to ask the hard questions. But tonight, something in you shifts. Something in you changes, and for the first time, you know you have to find the answers, no matter what the cost. You step out into the cool night air, the quiet of the village around you like a blanket. The streets are empty, but you're not afraid. You've walked these paths countless times before. They feel like home, but tonight, they feel more like a labyrinth, twisting and turning towards something you're not quite sure you're ready to find. The old oak tree that stands at the village center calls to you, as it always has. It's a large, imposing presence, its branches stretching out like fingers, reaching for the sky. Some say it's the oldest tree in the village, that it's been here since the beginning. It's a place of gathering, where the villagers meet to share stories, exchange news, and celebrate life. But tonight, you're not here for celebration. You stop before the tree, the soft breeze rustling the leaves above you. It's as if the village itself is holding its breath. You place your hand on the rough bark of the tree, feeling its ancient, solid presence beneath your fingers. And in that moment, you feel something strange. A pulse, a faint, almost imperceptible vibration, like the tree is alive, aware of your touch. It feels as though the very earth beneath you is shifting, responding to your presence. And then, just as quickly as it began, it's gone. You pull your hand away, your heart pounding in your chest. Was it just your imagination? Or did the tree know something? You turn, scanning the village, but there's no sign of anyone, no villagers watching from their windows, no voices in the streets. It's as if you're alone in this moment, in this place, just as the stranger had said you would be. The weight of your decision begins to sink in. This isn't just about the village's secret anymore. It's about you. You are part of this mystery now, and it's calling to you. pulling you toward the unknown. The choices you make from this moment forward will define your future, whether you embrace the truth or continue to live in ignorance. For a moment, you wonder if it's too late to turn back, to leave this mystery behind and go back to your simple life in the village. But you know it's not possible. The questions are too deep now, too much a part of you. There's no going back. With a deep breath, you turn and walk toward the path leading to the village's oldest building, the library. It's where all the village's oldest records are kept, where the secrets of the past are buried. You know that within its walls lie the answers you've been searching for. You've always known they were there, but you never had the courage to seek them. Tonight, that changes. You enter the library, the door creaking softly as you push it open. The faint scent of old parchment and wood fills your nostrils, and for a moment, you feel a sense of calm. This place feels like it holds everything: answers, history, the key to understanding the village's immortality. You make your way to the back of the library, where the oldest scrolls and tomes are kept, some so ancient that the ink has begun to fade from the pages. You pull down the first book that catches your eye. It's old, more fragile than the others, with a cover worn by the passage of time. The title is too faded to read, but you don't need to know its name. You know that this is the book that holds the answers. As you flip through the yellowed pages, your eyes fall upon a passage that makes your blood run cold. It speaks of a village founded long ago, a place where time stopped, where the people were gifted with eternal youth by an ancient force, an immortal power that lived within the earth itself. But the gift came at a cost. Those who accepted it could never leave, could never grow old, but they could also never truly die. You stop, the words hanging in the air like a heavy fog. The price of eternal life wasn't just that you would never age, it was that you would never escape. The villagers were bound to the land, forever tied to the cycle of life and death, but never fully experiencing either. The truth is worse than you could have imagined. The villagers are not immortal. They are trapped in time, and the cost of that eternity is far greater than you could have ever guessed. You let the book fall from your hands, its pages rustling as it lands on the floor. The room feels smaller, as though the very walls are closing in around you. The weight of the knowledge you've just uncovered presses down on you like a heavy stone, and the silence of the library feels deafening. You stand frozen in place, your mind racing with the implications of what you've just read. The village that you've known all your life, the place that seemed like a sanctuary, is nothing more than a gilded cage of prison disguised as paradise. The immortality that the villagers cherish is not a gift, but a curse. The ancient force that grants them eternal youth also binds them to the land, forcing them to live in this perfect, unchanging world forever. The villagers never grow old, never experience the passage of time, but they are also never truly alive. Their lives are frozen in a loop, trapped between life and death, unable to move forward or backward. The price of their eternal youth is their very souls, forever bound to the village that holds them captive. You feel the weight of this truth settle in your chest, suffocating you. You've always known something was wrong with the village, but now the answer is clear. The villagers, yourself included, are not living. They are suspended, caught in an endless cycle of repetition, unable to break free. And you can't help but wonder, how many others have come before me, searching for answers, only to discover the same bitter truth. The world outside the library feels distant now, like a place you'll never be able to return to. You've crossed a line, and there's no going back. The life you've known is a lie, and the people you've lived alongside are no more than ghosts, frozen in time, unable to escape the trap they've unknowingly accepted. You stand up, your knees weak, and walk slowly out of the library, the weight of the knowledge you've uncovered following you like a shadow. The streets of the village seem different now, their perfection more haunting than comforting. The people you pass, those familiar faces that never seem to change, are now like strangers to you, their agelessness a reminder of the curse they carry. You see Emily again, standing in front of the bakery, smiling as she always does. But this time, her smile doesn't reach her eyes. You know now that she's as trapped as you are, as trapped as every other person in the village. You want to speak to her, to tell her what you've learned, but you know it wouldn't make a difference. She doesn't remember the past. She doesn't know the truth. And even if she did, there's nothing either of you could do to change it. The village has bound them all to this life, and breaking free is not as simple as walking away. The price of immortality is steep, and no one in the village has ever truly considered what it costs. The village is quiet now, the sounds of the day muted by the overwhelming weight of what you've learned. You walk through the streets in a daze, unsure of where to go or what to do. There's no place to hide from the truth, no place to run. The village is a prison, and you are its prisoner, bound by the same invisible chains that hold everyone else. You think of the stranger you met yesterday, the one who whispered that you weren't the first to seek the truth. What had they meant? Had others before you searched for answers, only to be consumed by the same realization that you've come to now? Were they still here, still trapped in the village, living in an endless loop of time? You don't know, but you're beginning to fear the answer. You know that the more you search, the more you uncover, the deeper you'll be drawn into the village's dark heart. There's no escaping it. The truth has a way of finding you, no matter how hard you try to ignore it. As you walk toward the village's edge, toward the forest that marks the boundary between the village and the unknown, you feel a strange pull. Something about this place, this village, is drawing you in, keeping you tethered to it. You want to leave, to break free from the curse, but you can't. The village has become part of you, and no matter how far you walk, it will always call you back. The forest looms ahead, dark and mysterious. You know that beyond it lies the outside world, a world you've only heard of in stories, a world where time flows naturally, where people age and die, and where change is inevitable. You've never known that world, and now it feels like a distant dream. The forest seems like the only escape, but it also feels like the final step, the last choice you'll ever make. The village has always been your home, and leaving it is like stepping into the unknown. It's both terrifying and exhilarating. But can you truly leave? Can you escape the village's grip? Or will it pull you back like it has done to everyone else who's ever tried to break free? You step into the forest, your footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath you. The trees tower above you, their branches reaching out like fingers. The air is thick with the scent of damp leaves and moss, and for the first time in your life, you feel a sense of freedom. The village, the people, the endless repetition, all of it feels distant now, as if it belongs to someone else. But with each step, the weight of the decision you've made settles more heavily on your shoulders. You don't know what lies ahead, but you know that there's no going back. The village will always be there, frozen in time, waiting for you to return. But you don't know if you ever will. The truth is out there, somewhere, and it's waiting for you to uncover it. The forest is different from the village. It feels alive in a way the village never did, as if the trees, the soil, the very air are all part of something larger, something more complex. You breathe in deeply, savoring the fresh, earthy scent of pine and damp moss, the coolness of the air brushing against your face. The forest is a world away from the stagnant perfection of the village, where nothing ever changes and time simply does not pass. Here, you feel the pulse of something real, something vibrant, and it unsettles you in ways you didn't expect. Your feet crunch softly against the forest floor, a stark contrast to the smooth, well-kept paths of the village. Each step feels like an echo, as though the land itself is responding to your presence. The trees around you are dense and towering, their ancient branches swaying gently in the wind. It's a place untouched by the cycles of the village. Here, everything grows, ages, and dies. The leaves turn, the seasons change, and you can feel the world turning in ways you've never known. You pause for a moment, taking in your surroundings. It's hard to imagine that just beyond these trees, there's a place that's never known change. The village, so perfect, so timeless, seems like a distant memory already. Here, in the heart of the forest, you feel the weight of possibility pressing in on you. The past is behind you, and the future lies ahead, uncertain but free. You walk further into the forest, your mind still racing with questions. What lies ahead? What is the price of leaving the village, of breaking free from the immortality that has held you in its grasp for so long? The thought of the villagers, their agelessness, their quiet acceptance of their fate haunts you. You know they will never know what you've discovered. They will remain forever locked in their unchanging lives, unable to break free from the cycle. But you are different. You've seen the truth, and now you have to face the consequences. As you venture deeper into the woods, the air grows thicker, heavier. The path ahead seems to twist and wind, as if the forest itself is drawing you in, pulling you toward something. You don't know what that something is, but you feel its pull deep in your gut. There's something in this forest, something ancient and powerful, that is calling you. The village feels so far behind you now, its perfection and stagnation fading into the distance as the forest envelops you. The trees around you begin to thin, and soon you find yourself at the edge of a clearing. At the center of the clearing is an ancient stone structure, its weathered surface covered in moss and vines. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Its design so old, so foreign, that it seems almost out of place in this world. The stone is smooth to the touch, but it feels cold, as though it's been untouched by time, much like the village you left behind. You approach it cautiously, feeling the weight of history in the air. This place, whatever it is, holds the key to everything. The answers you've been searching for. About the village, about immortality, about your own life, are hidden here, and you can feel it in your bones. You place your hand on the stone, and the moment you do, a low vibration hums through your body. It's subtle, but unmistakable. The stone seems to awaken beneath your fingers, and suddenly you hear a voice, a whisper, faint but clear. You've come far, traveler, but what you seek is not easily found. You pull your hand back in shock, looking around the clearing for any sign of where the voice came from, but there is no one here. Only the trees, the moss, and the stone. The voice, though, lingers in your mind, its words echoing through your thoughts. What you seek is not easily found. You take a deep breath, trying to steady yourself. What does this mean? What is this place? The village has always been static, forever preserved in its perfect, unchanging state. But here, in this ancient clearing, the air feels alive with potential, with energy. It's as though time flows differently here, as though something ancient is stirring beneath the surface. Another voice speaks, this time louder, more forceful. You must decide. The truth you seek comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it? The air around you seems to shift as the voice fades, and you're left standing in the clearing, the weight of its words settling heavily on your shoulders. What price? You've already learned the terrible truth about the village, the cost of its immortality. But now, you're faced with an even more difficult choice. The forest, this ancient place, holds the answers, but to uncover them, to break free from the bonds of immortality, will require more than just courage. It will demand a sacrifice. You glance back toward the path you've just traveled, the way back to the village. It feels like a lifetime ago, but the village is still there, still waiting, still caught in the cycle of eternal youth. The villagers are trapped in their paradise, unaware of the truth that you now know. You're the only one who understands the cost of immortality, and you can't shake the feeling that this journey has only just begun. The voice returns, softer now, like a whisper in the breeze. Choose wisely. And so, the decision is yours. Stay in the village, live forever in its perfect, unchanging world, and never truly experience life as it was meant to be, or step forward into the unknown and face whatever comes next, knowing that the truth comes with a price. The forest stretches out before you, dark and mysterious, the clearing holding the key to everything. You stand at the crossroads of your own future, the weight of your decision pressing down on you. The choice is yours, and you know that once you make it, there's no turning back. The air feels heavier now, laden with the weight of your decision. The path ahead is uncertain, but the forest seems to call to you, beckoning you toward something unknown. Behind you, the village remains, a silent and timeless place that has sheltered you for so long. But you know now that shelter isn't freedom. It's a cage. A gilded cage, perhaps, but a cage nonetheless. The village will never change, and neither will the people within it, unless you break free. But breaking free, what will it cost you? What is waiting for you beyond the boundaries of the village, beyond the ancient stone and the whispered voices that have guided you to this moment? You've always felt that something was missing from your life, something just beyond your reach. Now, you know what it is. It's time itself. The village is caught in a loop, frozen in time, and you've spent your life merely existing within its constraints. The forest in front of you offers a different kind of life, one where change is inevitable, where time moves forward, even if it is unpredictable and uncertain. You've seen what happens when time doesn't pass. Everything becomes stagnant. The village is a reflection of what happens when life is frozen in place. There are no births, no deaths, no aging, no experiences that lead to growth. Life becomes a series of repeating moments, and eventually, the beauty of eternal youth fades, leaving behind only the emptiness of endless repetition. And yet, the unknown before you is just as terrifying as it is tempting. You don't know what lies beyond the forest, or what you'll find when you venture deeper into the mysteries that have been hidden from you for so long. But staying in the village is no longer an option. The truth, as painful as it is, has been revealed. The question now is what to do with it. You stand at the edge of the clearing, feeling the weight of your choice pressing down on you. To step forward is to embrace uncertainty, to face whatever lies ahead with no guarantees. To stay is to remain in a world that has lost its meaning, where the passage of time is nothing more than a distant memory. You take a deep breath and step away from the stone, your heart pounding in your chest. The forest before you feels different, now more alive, more real. The trees seem to reach for you, their branches swaying in the breeze, almost as though they're welcoming you into their fold. The air feels fresher here, as though it carries the promise of something greater, something unknown. You start walking into the forest, your footsteps steady and determined. The path is winding, the trees towering above you as you make your way through the dense undergrowth. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and moss, and you feel as though you're leaving behind the remnants of the world you've known. The village is now a distant memory, fading behind you as you venture further into the unknown. With every step, you feel a sense of liberation, as if the very act of moving forward is breaking the chains that have held you to the village for so long. The further you walk, the more the weight of the decision begins to lift from your shoulders. You've made your choice, and now there is no turning back. The forest around you begins to shift, the trees growing denser, the light dimming as the canopy thickens above. It's as if the forest is guiding you deeper, leading you towards something you can't yet see, but know is waiting for you. There's a sense of anticipation in the air, a pulse of energy that seems to grow stronger the further you go. As you walk, you begin to feel the presence of something ancient, something powerful that has been hidden from you for as long as you can remember. The whispers from the well, the strange voice that led you to this point, it's all starting to make sense. There's something deep within the forest, something that has been here long before the village, long before time itself was frozen in place. You don't know what it is yet, but you can feel it, like a pulse in the earth beneath your feet. The path becomes narrower, the trees now so close together that the light is almost completely blocked out. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of the forest, and the only sound you can hear is the crunch of leaves beneath your feet. It's quiet here, almost eerily so, as if the forest is holding its breath, waiting for you to discover what it has hidden for so long. And then, through the dense underbrush, you see it a faint glow in the distance. It's not like the sunlight filtering through the trees, but something different. A soft, ethereal light that seems to pulse with life, calling you forward. Your heart races, and for a moment, you feel the urge to turn back. But you know that you can't. You've come this far, and the answers you seek are just ahead. You push through the last of the thick foliage and step into a clearing. The light is brighter here, emanating from a large stone structure at the center. It's ancient, its surface covered in glowing symbols that pulse with energy. The air around it feels charged, alive with a force you can't fully comprehend. This is it. This is what you've been searching for. The source of everything. The truth about the village, about the immortality, about time itself. You approach the stone structure slowly, your heart pounding in your chest. The glow from the symbols seems to reach out to you, drawing you in. As you stand before it, the air seems to hum with power, and you realize that this is not just a relic, it's alive. This stone, these symbols, are connected to the village, to its endless cycle of life. It's the heart of the village's curse, and possibly its only hope of breaking free. With trembling hands, you reach out and touch the stone. The moment your fingers make contact, a surge of energy floods through you, and for a brief moment, you feel the weight of centuries pressing down on you. The truth, the history of the village, the cost of immortality, all of it flows into you in a single, overwhelming wave. The choice you've made is the beginning of something far greater than you ever imagined. The power of the stone pulses beneath your fingers, and as you stand there, you realize that your journey is just beginning. The village's eternal cycle is about to be broken, but at what cost? The energy from the stone surges through your body like a bolt of lightning, your fingers still pressed against the cold, smooth surface. For a moment, you lose yourself in the light, the glowing symbols flashing in your vision, pulsing with an intensity that feels almost otherworldly. The whispers return, louder now, overlapping with each other, echoing in your mind. You've unlocked it. You've unlocked the truth. The voice is not the same as before. This time, it's deeper, resonant, and strangely familiar, as if it has always been part of you. It speaks with authority, as though it has been waiting for you to arrive. to touch the stone, to uncover the truth hidden beneath the layers of time and silence. The cycle must be broken. The words echo through your mind as the power of the stone continues to pulse, filling you with visions, fragments of the village's past, glimpses of its founding. You see the first settlers, their eyes filled with hope as they built the village, unaware of the price they would pay for their eternal life. The stone they discovered, its power, its promise, had seemed like a gift. But the cost, the dark price they paid, is now unfolding before you. You see the moment when the village was bound to the earth, when the immortality curse was laid upon it, and you feel the weight of that decision. The power of the stone was meant to preserve the village, to keep it from decay, to halt the passage of time. But in doing so, it trapped the villagers in an endless cycle, unable to age, unable to escape. They are stuck, caught in a loop, forever repeating the same day, the same moments, as if time itself has forgotten them. As the visions fade, you pull your hand back from the stone, your mind spinning with the revelation. The truth you sought is now clear, but it's not as simple as you thought. The village's immortality was never truly a blessing. It was a prison. And breaking that prison, breaking the cycle, will come at a cost that you may not be prepared to pay. You take a step back, feeling the weight of what you've just uncovered settle into your chest. The stone before you is still glowing, its energy now calm, as though it's waiting for you to make a decision. The power to break the cycle is in your hands, but the question is, do you have the strength to do it? The voice that spoke to you earlier returns, this time softer, almost wistful. The cost of breaking the cycle is great. You will have to give up the very thing that binds you here. And once you do, the village will change, forever. You think of the villagers, their faces unchanged, their lives frozen in a moment of time. They've never known anything else, never experienced the passage of time, never grown old. They've been gifted with eternal youth, but that gift has come with a price one that has kept them bound to this place, trapped in a cycle they cannot escape. And now, the power is in your hands. You can choose to break the cycle, to free the village from its eternal prison, but it will come with consequences. The immortality that has kept the village young will fade, and with it, the villagers will age as they were meant to. The perfect stillness of the village will be shattered, and the passing of time will once again take hold. The cost is clear. You can free the village, but you will have to give up the very thing that has kept you young. Your eternal youth, the gift you've taken for granted, will be gone. You will age, like everyone else, and with age comes the inevitable end. Death. It's a thought that has never crossed your mind before, a concept that the village has kept at bay for so long. But now, it's part of your reality. You stand before the stone, your heart heavy with the weight of the decision. The village, the villagers, your own existence, all of it hangs in the balance. And as the glow of the stone dims, you realize that this choice is yours. To break the cycle, to destroy the immortality that has kept everyone trapped in time, means embracing the unknown, embracing change, and embracing the natural flow of life. But it also means letting go of what you have, what you've always known. You take a deep breath, letting the cool air of the forest fill your lungs. It's a feeling you've never known before the weight of responsibility. The village is counting on you, but so are you. The truth you've uncovered is not one you can easily ignore. You can walk away, leave the stone untouched, and let things continue as they are. But if you do, the cycle will continue. The village will remain in its timeless stasis, forever unchanged, forever trapped. There's a voice inside you that whispers, urging you to act, to break the cycle. But there's another part of you, a part that fears the consequences, that wants to cling to what has always been. The choice is not simple. It never was. The decision rests on your shoulders. Do you destroy the curse that has kept the village in stasis, knowing that it will change everything? Or do you leave it, allowing the villagers to remain in their ageless prison, forever locked in a moment of time? You take one final glance at the stone, its glow now fading into the darkness of the forest. The power to break the cycle is in your hands, but only you can decide what comes next. You make your choice. The decision weighs heavily on your chest, the consequences of your choice spiraling through your thoughts like a whirlwind. You stand there, in the clearing, the ancient stone still glowing faintly before you. The cool, crisp air of the forest is quiet around you, as though even the trees are waiting for you to make your move. You felt the pull to break the cycle, to free the village from its eternal prison. You know that the immortality the villagers have cherished for so long is not the blessing they believe it to be. It's a cage, a never-ending loop of repetition that traps them in an existence without growth, without change. But the thought of what you will lose, your youth, your vitality, gives you pause. The immortality you've enjoyed is a gift, one you've taken for granted for so long. The idea of giving it up, of facing aging and death, is a terrifying prospect. It's a reality you've never had to face, and the uncertainty of it makes your heart race. You've never considered the price of immortality. You never thought there would be a moment when you would have to choose between the eternal, ageless life you've known and the reality of growing old. The forest seems to hold its breath as you weigh your options. You can leave the stone undisturbed, allow the cycle to continue, and live in the timeless comfort you've always known. The village will remain as it is, its people forever young, their lives free from the ravages of time. But in doing so, you'll be ignoring the truth you've uncovered. You'll be choosing to stay in a place that has been artificially preserved, a world that has been frozen in time. The other option, breaking the cycle, releasing the village from its ageless trap, means embracing change. It means allowing the villagers to age, to experience the fullness of life, with all its beauty and its sorrow. The village will grow and evolve, and with that evolution, it will become something new, something unknown. But you'll lose your immortality in the process. You'll be like everyone else, aging, changing, and eventually dying. The thought is unsettling, but there's something inside you that knows it's the right choice. The village, the people, have lived in stasis for far too long. Time has passed them by, but they haven't experienced it. They've missed out on the full spectrum of life, on the beauty of growth, of learning, of the natural flow of existence. Immortality isn't a gift, it's a prison. And for the first time, you understand what it means to truly live. You take a deep breath, steadying yourself. The decision is clear. The village must change. It must break free from the curse that has bound it to a timeless existence. But breaking the cycle will come with consequences. You may never again see the village in the same way. The faces you've known for so long will age, their youthful appearances fading with time. The familiar rhythms of life will be disrupted, and the peaceful stasis will be shattered. But that's what life is: change, growth, and the inevitability of time moving forward. You place your hand on the stone once more, and this time there's no hesitation. The moment your fingers touch the surface, the glow intensifies, the energy pulsing with a power that sends a shock through your body. The forest seems to tremble, as if responding to your choice. The stone symbols begin to shift, their light now swirling in intricate patterns, as though they're alive, reacting to the breaking of the cycle. You feel the power of the stone course through you, a force unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's overwhelming, But you stand firm, holding on to your decision. The village, the people, will finally be free. The eternal youth that has bound them to this place will fade, and with it, the curse that has kept them trapped in time. They will age, they will change, but they will also experience the fullness of life. And for that, it will be worth the price. The glow from the stone begins to fade, its energy dissipating into the air around you, and for the first time, you feel a deep sense of release. The weight of the decision lifts from your shoulders, and you feel a strange peace settling in your chest. The cycle is broken. The village will never be the same, but in that change, it will find its true freedom. You step back from the stone, the clearing now bathed in the soft light of the evening sky. The forest around you seems to sigh, as though it too is relieved by your decision. The village, the timeless world you've always known, is behind you now. You've chosen the unknown, the uncertain, the natural flow of time. And while you don't know what the future holds, you're no longer afraid of it. The decision is made, and now you can move forward. The villagers will feel the effects of the change soon enough, and you know that it will be difficult for them to accept. But they will grow, they will learn, and they will finally experience the full range of life that was denied to them for so long. The village will age, just as you have chosen to age. And with that aging will come a new understanding of what it means to truly live. You leave the stone behind, the echoes of the past fading as you walk back toward the village. There's a sense of purpose in your steps now, as though you've crossed an invisible line. The village will never be the same, but you've set it on a new path, one that leads toward growth, change, and ultimately, freedom. The forest is no longer a place of escape. It is a place of renewal. You look back at the stone one last time, knowing that it is no longer a symbol of imprisonment. It is the key to the future. And as you walk back toward the village, the first steps toward a new life ahead, you realize that the hardest part is over. You've made your choice. Now you'll see it through. As you make your way back to the village, the weight of your decision continues to settle on your shoulders. The forest behind you feels different now, less like an escape and more like a transition of passage from one reality to another. The village lies ahead, still as timeless and perfect as ever, but you know that everything has changed. You've broken the cycle. There's no turning back now. The sun is beginning to set, casting a warm golden glow over the village as you approach the edge of the forest. The familiar buildings stand before you, the same cobblestone streets winding their way through the village square, but there's something new in the air. It's a subtle shift, like a breath held for too long, and you know that everyone in the village will feel it. The stillness of eternal youth will begin to fade, and with it, the endless repetition of time. You pause at the edge of the village, taking in the scene before you. The people you've known for so long are still here, still going about their routines, their faces as youthful and bright as ever. But they are unaware of what's to come. You've broken the cycle for them, and though they don't know it yet, they will. And when they do, they will have to face the reality of aging, of living in a world where time moves forward, where the seasons change, and where the inevitable march of time will no longer be held at bay. You step into the village square, the cobblestones cool beneath your feet. The market stalls are closing for the evening, the merchants packing up their wares as the last rays of sunlight fade from the sky. You catch sight of Emily again, standing outside the bakery, her warm smile greeting you. But this time, when she looks at you, you see something different in her eyes. There's a flicker of recognition, as though something inside her has shifted, though she doesn't yet know what it is. "Good evening," she says cheerfully, though you sense a subtle change in her tone. "It's a beautiful night, isn't it?" You nod, smiling in return, but your mind is elsewhere. You've just made a decision that will change the course of everything. You're no longer the same person who walked into the forest just hours ago. You've taken the first step into an unknown future, one where the village will age, where time will finally move forward, and where the people will experience the fullness of life, along with all its challenges. Emily's gaze lingers on you for a moment, longer than usual. There's a softness in her eyes, a quiet understanding, but neither of you speaks the words that hang in the air. She's still unaware of what's to come, but somehow you both share a quiet knowledge of change. The village is shifting, just as you are, and soon everyone will feel it. As the night deepens and the village square empties, you make your way to the old oak tree at the center of the town. The tree stands tall and unmoving, just as it always has, its branches reaching toward the sky like an ancient sentinel. It's the heart of the village, the place where people gather, where memories are made, and where the cycles of life once seemed endless. You place your hand on the rough bark, feeling the vibrations of the tree beneath your fingertips. It's a silent witness to everything that has happened here, to the countless lives that have passed beneath its shade. The oak has seen it all, from the village's founding to its present day, and now it will witness the breaking of the cycle, the beginning of a new era. As your hand rests on the tree, a faint warmth spreads through your palm, as if the tree itself is responding to your presence. For a moment, you close your eyes, and in that stillness, you feel something new, a pulse, a rhythm, a heartbeat that matches your own. The village is waking up to a new reality, and so are you. The sound of footsteps interrupts the moment, and you turn to see Dr. Morrow approaching. She's walking slowly, her face lined with concern, but there's something different in her eyes today. There's a knowing look, as if she's been anticipating this moment as much as you have. "You did it," she says quietly, her voice filled with a mix of admiration and apprehension. "You've broken the cycle." You nod, the weight of her words settling deep within you. "I had to." She looks at you for a long moment, her gaze softening. "I've always known there was something more to this place," she says, her voice tinged with a quiet sadness. "But I never had the courage to find out. Now, everything is about to change." The realization hits you then, Dr. Morrow, the elders, all the villagers. They've lived in this timeless stasis for so long that they've never truly questioned it. But now, you've awakened them. You've given them a choice, even if they don't fully understand it yet. "I don't know what's coming next," you say, your voice low. "But I know we can't go back to the way things were." Dr. Morrow nods slowly, her face thoughtful. "No, we can't. But maybe that's the way it was always meant to be. Maybe this village was meant to age, to grow, to experience life the way it was always intended to. The immortality we sought, it's not freedom. It's a trap." You both stand in silence for a long moment, the weight of the decision you've made settling in your chest. You've given the village the chance to grow, to live and die as it was always meant to. But that doesn't mean the path ahead will be easy. The villagers will face the consequences of their newfound mortality, and the future of the village will be shaped by their choices. Time will move forward now, and with it, change will come. As you turn to leave the oak tree, Dr. Morrow stands beside you, her presence a quiet reassurance. The village is waking up, just as you are. And no matter what happens next, you know that the future is no longer bound by the past. The village has changed, and with it, so have you. The morning arrives, a soft light creeping over the village, brushing against the stone cottages and cobblestone streets. The air feels fresher today, as if the world is breathing a little deeper. You step out into the village square, but this time, everything feels different. There's a quiet energy in the air, a shift you can't quite explain. The villagers, unaware of the profound change that has taken place, continue with their daily routines, but the very fabric of their existence has been altered. They have no idea yet, but soon they will. You walk through the square, your eyes scanning the familiar faces of those you've known all your life. Emily is setting up her bakery, her hands working quickly and expertly as she arranges the fresh bread for display. She's smiling as always, but today there's a subtle difference in the way she moves. It's not as mechanical as it was before. It's as if there's something new in her steps, something unfamiliar, as though she's realizing for the first time that her actions have meaning, real meaning beyond repetition. You see her pause for a moment, her hand hovering over a loaf of bread, and you wonder if she feels it too. The shift, the change. You approach her cautiously, unsure of how to bring up what's about to happen. You've seen the way the world has turned, how the rhythms of life in the village have been altered, but you don't know how to explain this new reality to someone who has never questioned it before. For Emily, for everyone, this new awareness will be overwhelming. "Good morning," you say softly, giving her a small smile. Emily looks up at you, and for the first time, you see a flicker of something different in her eyes. "Morning," she replies, but there's a hesitation in her voice. "You okay? You look lost." You nod, forcing a smile, but inside, you're wondering if this is the moment when the truth starts to sink in for everyone. Time is moving now. Time is real. "I'm fine," you say, your voice steadier than you feel. "Just ... thinking." She watches you for a moment, still holding a loaf of bread in her hands. You can see that something is stirring in her, something that she hasn't fully grasped yet. You both stand there in silence for a while, the noise of the market carrying on around you, but there's a weight in the air. A tension. A moment where both of you realize that the world you know is about to change forever. "I was wondering," she says slowly, her voice quiet, "do you ever feel like we're not really living?" Her words catch you off guard. You hadn't expected her to say it out loud, hadn't expected her to voice the very question you've been wrestling with for so long. You glance at her, startled by the honesty in her eyes, but you say nothing. She continues. "I mean," she adds, "everything is so. The same. Every day is like the last. It's like we're just waiting for something to happen. But nothing ever does. We never age. We don't change. I don't even remember a time when we weren't like this. It's like we're stuck." Your heart tightens, and you realize that, for the first time, someone else is feeling it too. That restless, gnawing unease. They're starting to feel the weight of immortality, the emptiness that comes with being forever unchanged. The cycle is beginning to break in their minds, just as it has in yours. "Emily," you say softly, taking a step closer. "You're starting to see it, aren't you?" She meets your gaze, and for a moment, there's a recognition in her eyes. She doesn't need you to explain it to her. She feels it too, the underlying truth that the village is not what it seems. She's waking up to the same reality you've come to understand, and you wonder how long it will take for the others to realize it too. "I don't know what's going on," she whispers, looking down at the bread in her hands, "but I feel like something is changing. Like ... I'm seeing the world for the first time." Her words hit you harder than you expected. It's not just the village that's changing, it's them. The people, the villagers, are waking up, slowly but surely, to the truth that's been hidden from them. They're realizing that their lives, this endless loop of immortality, was never meant to be. And now they must confront the fact that time is moving again. They are no longer frozen. And with that comes the fear of what aging will mean, The fear of what's been missing all along. I think you're right, you say softly, your voice steady despite the rising storm inside you. I think we're all starting to see it. You're about to say more, about to explain everything that has been revealed to you, when a sudden noise interrupts you. A shout from across the square. You turn to see a group of villagers gathered in front of the town hall, their faces filled with confusion and fear. You can hear snippets of their conversation. Something's wrong with the crops. The growth rate's accelerating. They're withering away faster than they should. The fields, the harvest it's all gone bad. The words hit you like a wave, and the tension in the air thickens. You exchange a quick glance with Emily, and you both know that something has changed, something beyond what you've already witnessed. The village's foundation, once so stable and eternal, is now starting to show signs of disruption. The crop symbols of the village's self-sufficiency and stability are dying, aging, decaying. You both make your way toward the crowd, your heart racing as you wonder what this means for the village. The aging has begun. The village is no longer static. It's shifting, evolving, and now the natural cycle of life is taking hold once again. The crops are withering, the people are questioning, and the truth you've uncovered is beginning to seep into the very fabric of the village. Time is moving again, and there's no stopping it. The villagers stand around the fields, staring at the shriveled plants, their faces a mix of confusion and fear. For the first time in living memory, something is wrong. The perfection of the village has been shattered. And in that moment, you know that the path ahead is no longer about immortality. It's about survival. It's about navigating the very real consequences of breaking the cycle and living in a world where time can no longer be denied. The village square is alive with murmurs of confusion as the villagers gather around the withered crops. The once vibrant fields that had sustained the entire community now stand as a haunting reminder of the price of immortality. You stand at the edge of the crowd, your heart racing as you try to make sense of what's happening. The crops, the very symbol of the village's eternal youth, have begun to age. Time, which was once held at bay, is now catching up with everything it touches. The signs are everywhere fragments of the life cycle, slipping through cracks that were never meant to exist. Emily stands next to you, her face pale with fear. She's clutching her apron, her hands shaking slightly. Her eyes, usually bright and carefree, are wide with uncertainty. You can see that she's feeling the shift, the change that's now undeniable. Her once stable world is beginning to unravel, and though she doesn't fully understand the cause, she feels the weight of it. "This wasn't supposed to happen," she says quietly, her voice trembling. "The crops have always been perfect. Why are they withering? What's going on?" You don't have an immediate answer. The voice from the stone, the energy that flowed through you, it warned of consequences, but you hadn't realized the full scope of what those consequences might be. The cycles of life that the villagers had been denied, the aging, the decay, it was all coming back. The village, once frozen in time, was now beginning to experience the very thing it had avoided for so long. "Maybe it's the change," you murmur, barely above a whisper. "Maybe this is the price of breaking the cycle. Time is catching up with us all." Emily turns to look at you, her expression searching, as if she's looking for an explanation that makes sense of the chaos. But why? Why now? Why are the crops dying? What's happening to the village? You take a deep breath, steadying yourself. The village has been stuck in time, Emily. It's been frozen in place, and the power that kept it that way, it's broken. We've been living in a world without change, without aging, and now everything is starting to move again. She looks at you, the weight of your words slowly sinking in. The truth you've uncovered, the secret that has been buried for centuries, is finally beginning to unfold. The village is not just experiencing the decay of the crops. It's experiencing time itself. The cycle has been broken, and time is taking back what was always meant to pass. The crowd begins to grow restless, and you can hear voices rising in alarm. Panic is starting to spread, the villagers unsure of what to do. The crops, once the life force of the village, are failing, and with it, the sense of stability that had always defined their existence. The truth is undeniable now. The village, the people, are no longer immune to time. They are no longer untouchable. "We need to do something," one of the villagers cries out. "We need to fix this before it spreads." But what can be done? The cycle has been broken. The power that held the village in stasis has been disrupted, and now the effects are rippling outward. The crops are dying. The people are beginning to feel the weight of their own mortality. And you know that there's no simple fix. The immortality the villagers had once enjoyed was never truly a gift. It was a curse, one that came with a price too high to pay. And now, that price is being exacted. Dr. Morrow appears at the edge of the crowd, her face grave. She moves toward you, her eyes scanning the damage in the fields. She looks at the withered plants, and then at you, her gaze searching, trying to understand what has happened. She knows, as you do, that the consequences of breaking the cycle are far-reaching, and there's no going back. "This is just the beginning," Dr. Morrow says quietly, her voice laced with concern. "The crops are just the first sign. If the cycle is truly broken, we'll see more than just withering plants. The village will begin to age, the people will start to grow old, and with that comes all the burdens of time. We can't stop it now." You nod, the weight of her words settling heavily in your chest. You knew there would be consequences, but seeing them unfold in real time, seeing the very fabric of the village begin to decay, is something you hadn't anticipated. You didn't expect the cost to be so immediate, so visible. The villagers are beginning to panic, their voices rising in alarm. "What will happen to us?" One woman cries. "What will we do if we start to age? If we start to grow old?" The questions flood the square, echoing in the air like a chorus of fear and confusion. The village, which has known only youth and stasis for as long as anyone can remember, is now being confronted with the harsh reality of time. Aging, death, decay, things they have never experienced, things they have never had to face. But now it is inescapable. Dr. Morrow raises her hand, and the crowd falls silent. "Listen," she says, her voice firm but gentle. "We can't undo what has been done. The cycle is broken, and the village is beginning to change. But we can face this together. We can adapt. We can learn to live with time, just as we've always lived with each other. The question is, are we ready to live with time?" Her words settle over the crowd, and for a moment, there's a sense of quiet. The villagers, still uncertain, are beginning to understand. The immortality that they've lived with is over, but there is life beyond it. There is the future. There is change. Emily turns to you, her eyes wide with both fear and wonder. "What happens next?" she asks, her voice trembling slightly. You look around at the villagers, their faces filled with confusion and fear. But there is something else there, too, something that wasn't there before. It's the beginning of understanding, the first spark of realization that they can face this change and maybe even embrace it. "What happens next," you say slowly, "is that we begin to live." The village, once frozen in time, is now waking up to the reality of life. And while the road ahead will be difficult, it will also be filled with new possibilities. Time is no longer something to fear, it is something to experience, to cherish. The villagers will grow old, They will face the challenges of time, but they will also grow wiser, richer, fuller in their experiences. And perhaps in that, they will find something more valuable than the immortality they once craved. You stand there in the village square, watching as the first signs of change ripple through the crowd, and you know that the journey ahead will not be easy, but it will be real. The cycle has been broken, and now, for the first time in centuries, the village will truly live. The change that follows is not immediate, but it's undeniable. At first, the villagers are hesitant, unsure of what to do with the reality they now face. The crops have begun to wither, but more than that, the sense of immortality, the unspoken assurance that they would never grow old, has been shattered. The very fabric of their existence, once held together by an unnatural stillness, has been undone. They are now forced to reckon with time, and it's a truth that they are only beginning to accept. Days pass, and though the physical changes are subtle at first, there's a quiet shift in the way people move, the way they interact. You begin to notice the elders walking more slowly, their steps less sure. Their faces, once untouched by age, are beginning to show the faintest lines, the first signs of aging they have never known. It's a quiet thing. At first, just a few creases around the eyes, a few wisps of gray in the hair. But it's enough to make the villagers stop and look, to make them pause, as if waiting for something to happen, as if waiting to see how they will react to the inevitable passage of time. The children, too, are changing, slowly. Their voices seem to deepen, their laughter becoming quieter, more thoughtful. They're starting to understand what it means to live in a world where time moves forward, where growth is something more than just a concept. And yet, the transformation is not without its challenges. There are moments of fear moments when the villagers look into the mirror and see the faintest signs of age. It is a strange thing for them to see, and the first time they encounter it, they struggle with the recognition. The face they've always known, the face that has never changed, is now showing the passage of time. You watch these changes unfold around you, and while there's a part of you that feels a deep sadness for what the villagers have lost, there's another part of you that feels a quiet hope. It's a hope that comes from knowing that they are finally experiencing the fullness of life. Time, in its relentless march, is something they will learn to navigate, just as the rest of the world has. They will age, they will grow, and they will experience the natural cycles of life birth, growth, aging, and eventually, death. And though it is a painful truth, it is also a beautiful one. One afternoon, you find yourself walking through the village, watching as people work together in the fields to replant the crops, to begin again. There is a new energy in the air, one that comes from the understanding that change is not to be feared. It is a part of life. You pass by Emily, who is tending to a small garden near the bakery, her hands moving with a careful, deliberate grace. She looks up at you, her eyes still holding that quiet wonder, that understanding of the new reality she now lives in. "How are the crops?" you ask, offering a small smile. Emily glances down at the plants, a soft sigh escaping her lips. "They're coming back," she says. "It's strange, though. The soil feels different. The air feels different. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the earth itself is waking up." You nod, understanding exactly what she means. The village is no longer stuck in a loop. It is alive, just as the earth is alive, experiencing the cycles of life and death, growth and decay. For the first time, the villagers are part of something bigger, something real. And even though the path ahead is uncertain, you know that they will find their way. Together, they will learn to navigate the challenges of time. Together, they will grow. As you walk through the village, you notice something else. The once ageless faces of the villagers are now marked by the faintest signs of time. There are wrinkles, silver hairs, and a softness that comes with age. But there's also something else. There's a sense of peace that wasn't there before. The fear of aging, the fear of death, is still present, but it no longer holds the same power over them. They are learning, slowly, that time is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. The sound of laughter reaches your ears as you make your way to the town square. The children, no longer frozen in youth, are now playing games, their energy and excitement filling the air. They're still the same children, but they're different now. They are growing, they are changing, and they are finally experiencing what it means to live in a world where time moves. You pause at the edge of the square, watching the scene unfold before you. The village is alive with the buzz of change, and you can feel the pulse of life in the air. There's a new energy in the village, a vitality that comes from the understanding that change is inevitable, that time is a gift, and that the moments they now share will never be taken for granted. Emily joins you at the edge of the square, her face soft with a quiet smile. "It's different," she says, her voice filled with awe. "I never realized how much we were missing until now." You nod in agreement, the weight of her words sinking in. The village has finally broken free from the grip of immortality, and while the road ahead will be difficult, it will also be full of life. The villagers will face the challenges of aging, but they will also experience the beauty of living fully, of growing, learning, and changing. They will live as the world was always meant to be lived, and in that there is a kind of freedom, a kind of peace that wasn't possible before. The sun sets on the village, casting a warm golden glow over the square. You stand there, watching the people you've known all your life, knowing that the village you left behind is no longer the same. The cycle has been broken, and the village is waking up to the reality of time. It is, after all, what you wanted all along, to give them the chance to live. The morning arrives, a soft light creeping over the village, brushing against the stone cottages and cobblestone streets. The air feels fresher today, as if the world is breathing a little deeper. You step out into the village square, but this time, everything feels different. There's a quiet energy in the air, a shift you can't quite explain. The villagers, unaware of the profound change that has taken place, continue with their daily routines, but the very fabric of their existence has been altered. They have no idea yet, but soon they will. You walk through the square, your eyes scanning the familiar faces of those you've known all your life. Emily is setting up her bakery, her hands working quickly and expertly as she arranges the fresh bread for display. She's smiling as always, but today there's a subtle difference in the way she moves. It's not as mechanical as it was before. It's as if there's something new in her steps, something unfamiliar, as though she's realizing for the first time that her actions have meaning, real meaning beyond repetition. You see her pause for a moment, her hand hovering over a loaf of bread, and you wonder if she feels it too. The shift, the change. You approach her cautiously, unsure of how to bring up what's about to happen. You've seen the way the world has turned, how the rhythms of life in the village have been altered, but you don't know how to explain this new reality to someone who has never questioned it before. For Emily, for everyone, this new awareness will be overwhelming. "Good morning," you say softly, giving her a small smile. Emily looks up at you, and for the first time, you see a flicker of something different in her eyes. "Morning," she replies, but there's a hesitation in her voice. "You okay?" You look lost. You nod, forcing a smile, but inside, you're wondering if this is the moment when the truth starts to sink in for everyone. Time is moving now. Time is real. "I'm fine," you say, your voice steadier than you feel. "Just ... thinking." She watches you for a moment, still holding a loaf of bread in her hands. You can see that something is stirring in her, something that she hasn't fully grasped yet. You both stand there in silence for a while, the noise of the market carrying on around you, but there's a weight in the air. A tension. A moment where both of you realize that the world you know is about to change forever. "I was wondering," she says slowly, her voice quiet, "do you ever feel like we're not really living?" Her words catch you off guard. You hadn't expected her to say it out loud, hadn't expected her to voice the very question you've been wrestling with for so long. You glance at her, startled by the honesty in her eyes, but you say nothing. She continues. "I mean," she adds, "everything is so. The same. Every day is like the last. It's like we're just waiting for something to happen. But nothing ever does. We never age. We don't change. I don't even remember a time when we weren't like this. It's like we're stuck." Your heart tightens, and you realize that, for the first time, someone else is feeling it too. That restless, gnawing unease. They're starting to feel the weight of immortality, the emptiness that comes with being forever unchanged. The cycle is beginning to break in their minds, just as it has in yours. "Emily," you say softly, taking a step closer. "You're starting to see it, aren't you?" She meets your gaze, and for a moment, there's a recognition in her eyes. She doesn't need you to explain it to her. She feels it too, the underlying truth that the village is not what it seems. She's waking up to the same reality you've come to understand, and you wonder how long it will take for the others to realize it too. "I don't know what's going on," she whispers, looking down at the bread in her hands, "but I feel like something is changing. Like ... I'm seeing the world for the first time." Her words hit you harder than you expected. It's not just the village that's changing, it's them. The people, the villagers, are waking up, slowly but surely, to the truth that's been hidden from them. They're realizing that their lives, this endless loop of immortality, was never meant to be. And now they must confront the fact that time is moving again. They are no longer frozen. And with that comes the fear of what aging will mean, the fear of what's been missing all along. "I think you're right," you say softly, your voice steady despite the rising storm inside you. "I think we're all starting to see it." You're about to say more, about to explain everything that has been revealed to you, when a sudden noise interrupts you. A shout from across the square. You turn to see a group of villagers gathered in front of the town hall, their faces filled with confusion and fear. You can hear snippets of their conversation. Something's wrong with the crops, the growth rate's accelerating. They're withering away faster than they should. The fields, the harvest is. It's all gone bad. The words hit you like a wave, and the tension in the air thickens. You exchange a quick glance with Emily, and you both know that something has changed, something beyond what you've already witnessed. The village's foundation, once so stable and eternal, is now starting to show signs of disruption. The crop symbols of the village's self-sufficiency and stability are dying, aging, decaying. You both make your way toward the crowd, your heart racing as you wonder what this means for the village. The aging has begun. The village is no longer static. It's shifting, evolving, and now the natural cycle of life is taking hold once again. The crops are withering, the people are questioning, and the truth you've uncovered is beginning to seep into the very fabric of the village. Time is moving again, and there's no stopping it. The villagers stand around the fields, staring at the shriveled plants, their faces a mix of confusion and fear. For the first time in living memory, something is wrong. The perfection of the village has been shattered. And in that moment, you know that the path ahead is no longer about immortality. It's about survival. It's about navigating the very real consequences of breaking the cycle and living in a world where time can no longer be denied. The next few weeks are filled with an air of quiet anticipation. The villagers, now more aware of the passage of time, begin to adjust to the changes that are unfolding. At first, the process is slow, tentative. The elders, those who once stood as pillars of unwavering youth, are the first to embrace the transformation. They speak with the younger villagers, explaining that aging is not something to be feared, but rather a natural part of life. They impart their newfound wisdom, sharing stories of times gone by, of lives well lived, and of the beauty that comes with each passing year. The younger villagers, still hesitant at first, begin to accept the truth of their mortality. They start to notice the subtle shifts in their own bodies, small aches that weren't there before, a few gray hairs that were once absent. But instead of resisting the changes, they begin to embrace them. They take joy in the fleeting moments of life, the simple pleasures that they had once overlooked. Time no longer feels like a thief. It feels like a companion, guiding them through each moment, each experience. Even the children, those who have only known the endless cycle of youth, begin to notice the difference. Their voices seem to deepen, their bodies stretch and grow, and the excitement of childhood slowly gives way to the curiosity of adolescence. For the first time, they understand that they, too, are part of the natural flow of time. The village, which had once been caught in a perfect, unchanging moment, is now a place of growth and evolution. The crops, too, reflect this change. They are no longer perfect, flawless specimens of eternal youth, but they are real. The soil feels richer, the plants more vibrant, as if the earth itself has awoken to the reality of time. The villagers tend to the fields with renewed care, understanding that every harvest is precious, that the beauty of the land comes not from perfection, but from the cycles of life that shape it. You walk through the village, feeling the changes in the air, in the very ground beneath your feet. The streets are quieter now, not because of sorrow, but because the villagers have found peace in the understanding that their lives will not be endless. They are learning to live with time, to appreciate its passage, and to find meaning in the impermanence of their existence. As you walk past Emily's bakery, you notice her standing outside, watching the sunset. She's no longer the young girl you first met, but someone who has matured, someone who has learned to appreciate the fleeting nature of life. Her face is more lined now, her hair touched with strands of silver, but her smile is the same warm, genuine, filled with a quiet wisdom. "You're looking more like the rest of us," you tease gently, joining her on the porch. She looks at you with a smile, her eyes soft with the understanding of what you've both been through. "I suppose it's inevitable," she says, her voice calm, yet filled with a newfound depth. "But it's not so bad. I think I'm starting to enjoy the changes." You nod, feeling a sense of peace settle over you. Emily, like the others, has learned to accept the reality of time. She is no longer clinging to the illusion of youth, but embracing the richness of experience that comes with every passing year. The village square is quieter today, but it's a different kind of quiet than before. It's a stillness filled with purpose, with the understanding that time is no longer something to be feared, but something to be celebrated. You see the villagers working together, helping each other in ways they never did before. There's a sense of community that has grown stronger with each passing day, a sense that they are all in this together, facing the challenges of life and death, but also embracing the beauty of change. You walk through the market, greeting the familiar faces, each of them now marked by the passage of time in their own way. Some have more gray in their hair, others have lines around their eyes, but all of them wear their age with pride, with a newfound appreciation for what it means to live. They no longer look at you with envy. with a desire to stay young forever. Instead, they look at you with understanding, with gratitude for the opportunity to grow, to change, and to live fully. At the edge of the square, you stop in front of the old oak tree, the one that has stood at the heart of the village for as long as anyone can remember. It too has changed. Its bark is more weathered, its branches thicker, its roots deeper. It stands as a symbol of the village's transformation, once frozen in time, now living, breathing, growing. You place your hand on the tree, feeling its rough surface beneath your fingertips. It's a reminder of everything that has happened, of everything that is still to come. The village is no longer the place it once was. The cycle has been broken, and in its place, a new life has begun. And you, along with the villagers, are part of that new life. As you walk away from the tree, you feel a deep sense of peace. The village is no longer stuck in a loop. It's no longer bound by the illusion of immortality. Time has come, and with it, a new chapter in the village's history. The villagers will age, they will grow, they will live fully, and they will die. But in doing so, they will experience the full richness of life, and that, in the end, is the greatest gift of all. As the sun sets on the village once more, you feel a quiet joy settle within you. You've made your choice, and the village has made its. The truth has been revealed, and while the road ahead will not be easy, it will be real. The village will live, and so will you, in the fullness of time. You look up at the stars, feeling a sense of peace wash over you. The village has changed. You have changed. And in that change, you have found something more valuable than immortality, the gift of life itself. The days that follow are a blur of transformation. The villagers, once uncertain and afraid, begin to adapt to their new reality with surprising grace. You watch as they find new meaning in their lives, each of them moving through their routines with a new sense of purpose. The elders, who had once been the epitome of timeless wisdom, now share their stories with a deeper understanding of the fleeting nature of life. They speak of the past, not with nostalgia for their eternal youth, but with gratitude for the experiences they've lived through. The young villagers, those who had always taken their youth for granted, now see it for what it truly is, a brief, precious gift. They no longer take the days for granted, savoring the smallest moments as if they were the most important thing in the world. Time, once a concept that held no meaning, now flows through them like a river, unpredictable but beautiful. They begin to create, to build, to dream of futures they never allowed themselves to imagine before. The village is no longer a place frozen in time. It's a place where life is vibrant, rich, and full of possibility. The change is not without its struggles. The elders, once immune to the ravages of age, now begin to feel the weight of time in a way they never had before. They speak of their aches and pains, their growing weariness, but there's no bitterness in their voices. They have learned to embrace it, to understand that aging is not something to fight, but something to honor. The village no longer sees aging as a curse, but as a natural part of life's cycle. They are no longer immortal, but in that, they are finally alive. The crops continue to grow, though imperfectly, and with each passing season, the villagers learn more about how to live in harmony with time. They have learned to respect the cycles of nature, to nurture the land, and to appreciate the beauty in the imperfection of growth. The fields no longer yield perfect, ageless crops, but they yield what is real, what is alive. The village is flourishing, but this time it is flourishing with the understanding that it is part of a larger cycle, one that moves forward, one that embraces both life and death. You find yourself walking through the village one afternoon, as you have so many times before. But today, everything feels different. There is a quiet peace in the air, a sense of acceptance that wasn't there before. The village is alive, in every sense of the word. It is a place that has learned to embrace time, to live with it, rather than deny it. As you walk, you pass by Emily, who is sitting on a bench near the fountain. She's looking up at the sky, her face peaceful, her eyes filled with a quiet wisdom. You sit beside her, and for a moment, neither of you speaks. There's no need to. The silence between you is comfortable, filled with the understanding that has grown between you over the past weeks. You've both been through so much, but now you feel a quiet contentment settling in your chest. "I never thought I'd say this," Emily says after a long pause, her voice soft, "but I think I'm glad things changed. I'm glad we're not stuck in that endless loop anymore. Time feels real now, and even though it's a little scary, I think I'm starting to understand what it means to live." You smile at her words, feeling a sense of warmth spreading through you. "I think we all are." She looks at you, her eyes filled with gratitude. You did it. You broke the cycle. You gave us the chance to live. You nod, but the truth is, you don't feel like a hero. You feel like someone who has been given the greatest gift of all, the chance to experience life in all its beauty and imperfection. Breaking the cycle wasn't just about freeing the villagers. It was about freeing yourself. The village has changed, yes, but so have you. You're no longer the person who walked into the forest seeking answers. You've grown, just as the villagers have. You've learned to embrace the natural flow of life, to accept time as a companion, not a foe. You've seen the consequences of immortality, and now you understand that the true beauty of life lies in its transience, in its ability to change and evolve. And with that understanding comes a kind of peace that fills the village and settles deep within your heart. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm golden glow over the village, you and Emily sit in companionable silence. The world around you is alive, vibrant, and full of possibility. The village is no longer a place trapped in time, but a place where life can be experienced fully. And as you watch the sky fade to twilight, you realize that this is just the beginning. The village, with all its newness and growth, is a place that will continue to evolve. The people will age, they will change, but they will do so together. They will experience life in its fullest sense, with all its joys and sorrows. They will learn to live with time, not fight against it. And in doing so, they will finally understand what it means to truly live. As you rise from the bench, Emily stands beside you, her hand resting gently on your arm. "Let's walk," she says, a soft smile on her lips. You nod, and together you begin to walk through the village, the sounds of life around you filling the air. The village is no longer frozen in time. It is alive, and so are you. And as you walk toward the future, you know that the possibilities are endless. The days blend together, each one bringing new lessons, new experiences, and new challenges. The village, once frozen in time, has become a living, breathing testament to the beauty of change. The villagers, though still uncertain at times, are slowly embracing their newfound reality. They age now, but with that aging comes growth. They begin to see the beauty in the passing of the seasons, the rise and fall of the sun, and the ebb and flow of time. It is no longer something to fear, but something to be cherished. The crops, though imperfect, continue to grow. There are failures, yes, but there are also successes. The villagers have learned that growth comes with setbacks, that life is not always predictable. They work the land with care, understanding now that the earth, like themselves, must be nurtured and allowed to change. And in return, it provides them with the sustenance they need to survive. You spend your days walking through the village, watching as the changes unfold. Emily continues to bake, but now there is a depth to her work, a sense of purpose that wasn't there before. She bakes not only for survival, but for the joy of sharing something with the people she loves. You watch her, her hands moving expertly as she prepares the bread, and you see the peace in her eyes. She is no longer a prisoner of immortality. She is free to live, to experience, to grow. The village square is alive with activity. Children play in the streets, their laughter filling the air, and adults gather around the fountain, chatting quietly about their plans for the day. The village no longer feels like a place suspended in time. It feels like a place where life is happening, where people are growing, learning, and changing together. It's a subtle shift, but it's there, in the way people move, in the way they interact with one another. You pass by Dr. Morrow, who is sitting under a tree, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes closed as she enjoys the quiet of the moment. You sit beside her, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, the gentle breeze rustling the leaves of the tree above you. For a moment, you simply sit in silence, content to be in the presence of someone who understands the journey you've all been on. The village is changing, you say softly, breaking the silence. Dr. Morrow nods, her eyes still closed, a small smile on her lips. It's strange, isn't it? Watching time unfold before our eyes. But it's also beautiful. We've spent so many years resisting change, trying to hold on to something that was never meant to last. But now we're learning to live. You nod in agreement, feeling the weight of her words. You've spent your life in the village, but you've never truly lived until now. The change has been hard, but it has also been liberating. You are free to experience life, to grow, to age, and to feel the full range of emotions that come with being alive. You are no longer stuck in an endless loop of repetition, frozen in time. You are part of the natural flow of life, and for the first time, you understand what that truly means. As the days pass, the village becomes more vibrant. The once frozen faces of the villagers now carry the marks of time wrinkles around the eyes, gray hairs in their once dark locks. But there is no sorrow in these signs of aging. Instead, there is a quiet pride, a recognition that time is a gift, not a curse. They are no longer afraid of it. They have learned to embrace it. You begin to notice that the relationships between the villagers have deepened. There is a sense of unity in the air, a shared understanding that life is short, that time is precious. People speak to one another with a new sense of respect, a new appreciation for the moments they have together. They no longer take each other for granted. They've learned that each moment, each conversation, each shared experience is a gift that can never be taken for granted. Emily joins you and Dr. Morrow under the tree, her smile bright as always, but there is a new warmth in her gaze. It's hard to believe how much we've changed in such a short time, she says, her voice filled with wonder. We've gone from fearing time to embracing it. It's like we've woken up to the world around us. You smile back, the sense of peace that fills you now, almost overwhelming. It feels like we're finally living, doesn't it? Emily nods, her eyes shining with a quiet understanding. We're not just existing anymore. We're living. And that's enough. As the evening approaches and the stars begin to twinkle overhead, the village takes on a quiet serenity. The people are still adjusting, still learning, but they are no longer afraid of what lies ahead. They are embracing time, embracing the changes that come with it, and in doing so, they are finally experiencing life as it was meant to be. The sounds of the village laughter, conversation, the rustle of the trees fill the night air, and you stand there, watching the stars, feeling a sense of peace that you've never known before. The village has changed, but so have you. You've broken the cycle. You've given the villagers the chance to live, and in doing so, you've found your own freedom. The moon rises high in the sky, casting a soft, silvery glow over the village. You take a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill your lungs. There is a stillness here now, but it's not the kind of stillness that comes from stagnation. It's the stillness that comes from acceptance, from understanding that time is a gift, that every moment is precious. As you stand there, surrounded by the village that has become something new, you realize that you've given everyone the most valuable thing they could have: freedom. The freedom to live, to age, to grow, and to experience the beauty of time in all its forms. The village is no longer a place trapped in an endless cycle. It is a place where life can finally unfold. And as the stars shine above, you know that whatever happens next, you are ready. The days that follow are filled with a quiet but undeniable shift. The village, once stagnant and eternal, is now filled with the natural rhythm of life. The air is different, more vibrant, as if the village is finally breathing in sync with the rest of the world. The villagers, too, are changing slowly, but surely they are learning to navigate this new reality. Aging, growing, experiencing, and living each day brings something new, something that was once impossible to imagine. You walk through the village one afternoon, watching the familiar faces around you. The children, once frozen in a state of eternal youth, are beginning to grow into adolescence. Their once small bodies stretching as they experience the awkwardness and wonder of growing up. They run through the streets with the same energy as before, but there's a difference now. They understand that this moment will pass, that they will continue to change. It's not something they fear anymore. It's something they are learning to appreciate. Emily, who once served you bread with a smile that never seemed to age, is now a woman in the prime of her life. Her hair, once untouched by the passage of time, is now streaked with gray, and the lines around her eyes tell the story of the years that have passed. But instead of retreating from the changes, she embraces them. She works the bakery with a quiet pride, savoring the process of creating something that will be consumed, experienced, and eventually fade, just like everything else. She bakes with the knowledge that the very act of creating is a part of living. That time is not something to fight against, but something to be celebrated. You pass by Dr. Morrow one morning as she tends to the garden in front of her cottage. Her once youthful features now carry the marks of time, but there is no sadness in her expression. Instead, there's a peaceful acceptance, a sense of contentment that wasn't there before. She looks up as you approach, her face lighting up with a smile. "Good morning," she says, her voice filled with the warmth of someone who has learned to appreciate the simplicity of each day. "The garden's coming along well. The soil's richer than I expected." You smile back, appreciating the change in her. "It looks great. You're doing good work." She nods, wiping her brow with the back of her hand. "Time's been kind to this soil. I think we're finally learning to grow in harmony with it, not forcing things, not trying to make them last forever, just letting things be." Her words resonate deeply within you, as they always do. She has become a quiet guide, not just for the villagers, but for you as well. Through her, you've learned to appreciate the natural flow of time. Through her, you've seen that life is not about controlling time or trying to hold on to youth. It's about embracing each moment, letting it unfold, and knowing that every moment, no matter how fleeting, is a part of the beautiful journey. You continue walking, your steps taking you toward the village center. The square is quieter now, but there's a stillness to the quiet, a peacefulness. People are still going about their day, tending to their work, but there's no longer the frenetic energy that used to mark every hour. Now, there is room for reflection, for living in the present. The villagers have learned, in their own ways, to experience the fullness of each moment, without clinging to the past or fearing the future. You walk past the old oak tree, the same tree that has stood at the heart of the village for as long as anyone can remember. Its branches are still strong, still reaching toward the sky, but now there's a sense of age to it, a sense of wisdom. The tree has weathered many storms, many seasons, and now, like the villagers, it stands as a symbol of the passing of time, not as something to fear, but as something to honor. You pause for a moment, your hand resting on the rough bark, and you think back to the day when everything began to change. The day you made the choice to break the cycle. The decision to shatter the eternal stasis of the village was never easy, and at times you still wonder if it was the right one. But as you look around now, as you witness the slow but steady transformation of the village and its people, you know it was the only choice. The village is finally alive, and that, in itself, is a gift. The people are living, not just existing, but truly living, with all the ups and downs that come with it. They are learning, they are growing, and most importantly, they are experiencing the richness of life in a way they never could have if time had remained frozen. The weight of the decision you made all those days ago begins to feel lighter, as if it's been lifted by the very changes you've set in motion. There is no more uncertainty, no more second-guessing. You can see now that the villagers have embraced what comes with the passing of time. They've accepted their mortality, not as something to be feared, but as something to be honored. They are living fully, knowing that life is fleeting, that moments are precious. And in that acceptance, there is peace. You stand there for a long time, your hand on the tree, your thoughts drifting back to the forest where it all began. You think of the stone, the power that it held, and the voice that spoke to you. It feels like a distant memory now, a chapter that has been closed. And yet, in a way, that moment was the beginning of everything. It was the moment when you and the villagers were given the opportunity to truly live. As the sun begins to set, casting a soft orange glow across the village, you make your way back toward your cottage. The familiar streets feel different now, not because they've changed, but because you have. The village is still the same, but you see it with new eyes. It's a place of life, of growth, of change. And that is the greatest gift of all. The moon rises in the sky, and you pause for a moment, looking up at its silver light. The village is alive with the hum of life, the laughter of children, the chatter of neighbors, the rustling of leaves in the breeze. Time is no longer something to be feared, but something to be embraced. And as you take your first steps into the future, you know that you are ready. The village has changed. You have changed. And in that change, you've found the freedom to live. Weeks turn into months, and the village continues to thrive, adapting to the rhythms of time with a resilience that surprises even the oldest among them. The crops, no longer perfect, but increasingly hardy, provide sustenance not just for survival, but for celebration. People now gather in the square, not only to work, but to share stories, to honor one another, and to mark the passage of time in ways they never did before. Each season is celebrated with a quiet reverence. Harvest festivals are now a regular event, filled with laughter and reflection. The children, once stuck in an endless loop of youth, have now grown into teenagers, and with their growth comes a newfound depth in their understanding of the world. They are beginning to ask questions about the past, about what life was like before the change, and about the future. The concept of aging, once so alien to them, is now woven into the very fabric of their existence. You watch as the children play, their laughter filling the village square, and you can't help but marvel at how far they've come. The idea of aging, of time moving forward, is no longer met with fear. It's met with curiosity, with an eagerness to experience everything that life has to offer. And with each passing day, you see the village changing before your eyes, growing, evolving, but always living. Emily, who has been by your side through all of this, has changed as well. The bakery has become more than just a place for sustenance. It's now a gathering place for the village, a place where people come not just for bread, but for conversation, for connection. She's no longer just the girl who baked bread to keep the village fed. She is a vital part of this community, someone who understands the value of time and connection, of creating something that will be cherished and remembered. One evening, as the sun sets and the village begins to quiet down, Emily joins you on the porch of your cottage. She's looking out over the village, a peaceful expression on her face. But there's something different about her now. She's grown in ways that are hard to describe, more grounded, more aware of the preciousness of life. "I've been thinking," she says, her voice thoughtful, "about everything that's happened, about how different everything feels now." You look at her, a soft smile playing at your lips. "What do you mean?" She sighs, her gaze distant, but full of understanding. "I remember when everything was the same, when time felt like something that would never change. But now I feel like I'm really living. I feel like every moment counts, like every day is something new, something to be thankful for." You nod, feeling the same quiet peace that she does. The village, the people, and most importantly, you have all changed. The curse of immortality has been lifted, and in its place, you found something even more valuable. The village is no longer frozen in time. It is alive, vibrant, and full of possibility. And in that life, in that change, there is meaning. As you sit in the fading light, watching the village, you realize that breaking the cycle was not just about freeing the village, it was about freeing yourself. You've let go of the fear of aging, the fear of time. You've embraced it. And in that embrace, you found a kind of peace that wasn't possible before. The village is still changing, still adapting. But now, it does so with purpose, with intention. The people have learned to live with time, not fight against it. They are learning to experience life in all its fullness. The good, the bad, the fleeting moments, and the lasting memories. And as the stars begin to twinkle above, you know that this is the life you've always wanted. Not an eternal, unchanging existence, but a life full of growth, of change, of experiences that shape you and the world around you. The village is no longer stuck. It is living, and so are you. Emily turns to you, a soft smile on her lips. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" You smile back, the weight of everything you've learned settling into your chest. "Yes, we have. And it's only just begun." The night deepens, and the village settles into a peaceful quiet. You sit there with Emily, knowing that while time will continue to pass, you are no longer afraid of it. You are no longer trapped in the illusion of immortality. You are free to live, to experience, and to embrace every fleeting moment. The village is alive, and you are alive with it. And in that, there is no greater gift. Months slip by in a gentle cascade, each one adding a new layer to the life that has blossomed from the ashes of the village's once stagnant existence. The village has truly come to life. The laughter of children fills the air more than ever as they grow, change, and mature. Their voices are now tinged with curiosity, wonder, and the early strains of adolescence. They are learning to live with the same sense of urgency that the adults have, appreciating their moments, finding joy in small things, and beginning to understand the fleeting nature of youth. The villagers, too, are adjusting. The physical signs of aging that once terrified them are now worn with pride. Their wrinkles are not marks of defeat, but of experience. Their gray hair is not a sign of decay, but a symbol of wisdom. Each person, no matter their age, wears time like a cloak one they've earned, one they understand. Emily, now more graceful in her movements, takes a moment to stop and gaze at the village. It's a quiet morning, and the sun is rising over the horizon, casting golden light across the streets. Her bakery, once a modest affair, is now the heart of the village. The space is filled with the hum of conversation, the rustle of bread being baked, and the sound of community growing closer with each passing day. Emily's smile is brighter, her laughter fuller. Her hands, though marked with the faintest traces of age, still move with ease and skill. She's embraced the passage of time, not as a burden, but as a gift. "You know," she says one day, as she sets down a loaf of freshly baked bread, "I never thought this life was possible. But here we are." You smile as you watch her. It's amazing, isn't it? To watch everything change, to see everyone grow, to see the village finally live. "Everything's so different now," she muses, looking around the bakery. "It's like the air is lighter, more full of possibility. We're not just surviving anymore, we're thriving. And it's not just about us, is it? It's the whole village, coming together in a way I never thought possible." You nod in agreement, feeling a sense of peace. You've watched the village grow, not just in terms of crops and youth, but in heart and spirit. There's a deeper connection, now a recognition that time, while fleeting, is something to be embraced. The village is learning to live with it, and with each passing day, it becomes a place that truly feels alive. The elders, those who have lived through the most drastic changes, are the ones who seem most at peace with the unfolding of time. They've shared their wisdom with the younger generations, guiding them not with a sense of fear, but with hope. They speak of the past fondly, but they do not long for it. They understand that life, in all its forms, must move forward. Even the animals that roam the village, once untouched by time's passage, seem to have adjusted to the rhythm of change. Their coats, once perpetually sleek and glossy, now have a hint of age, but they still run through the streets with the same energy. Time, for them too, has become part of the cycle, a natural process to be embraced rather than resisted. You walk through the village one evening, the sun casting long shadows as it sinks behind the hills. The streets are filled with activity, but the pace has slowed, the urgency replaced by a quiet sense of contentment. The villagers no longer rush through their days as they once did. Now they savor the moments they have, knowing that each one is precious. At the edge of the square, the old oak tree stands as it always has. It is no longer just a monument to the past. It is a symbol of endurance, of the village's strength in embracing time's passage. You approach it, placing your hand against its rough bark. The tree is alive as the village itself, and you feel a deep connection to it. It's witnessed everything, the village's foundation, the curse of immortality, and the freedom that has followed. You sit beneath its branches, looking up at the stars as they begin to twinkle in the evening sky. The village, once trapped in a cycle of eternal youth, is now a place where life is fully experienced. The seasons change, the people age, and the crops grow and die. But in all of it, there is beauty. The village has learned to live, truly live, and it has done so with grace, with courage, and with a deep understanding of the fleeting nature of time. The air is cool, and the evening is quiet, filled only with the soft sounds of the village winding down for the night. The fireflies dance in the distance, their soft glow like tiny stars that have come down to earth. You feel a deep sense of peace settle over you as you look at the village. It is no longer a place of frozen perfection. It is a place of life, of growth, of change. And in that change, there is freedom. The village has finally embraced time, and in doing so, it has found its true rhythm. You look around at the villagers, at Emily, at Dr. Morrow, at the children who are growing up with an understanding of the value of life, and you know that the future is bright. The village will continue to change, to evolve, but it will do so in the fullness of time. No longer trapped in a cycle of eternal youth, it is now truly alive. As you stand and walk back toward your cottage, the weight of your decision feels lighter, almost non-existent. The village has found its way, and so have you. Time, with all its challenges, has become a part of the natural order of life. It's no longer something to fear, but something to embrace. The moon rises higher in the sky, and the village settles into its peaceful rhythm. The changes are still unfolding, but you are no longer afraid. You've given the village the gift of time, and in return, it has given you the gift of life. The world around you is alive, and you are finally part of it. The village continues to hum with life, and as the days pass, the seasons shift, bringing with them new lessons, new beginnings, and inevitable changes. The village no longer feels like a place suspended in time. It feels like a place that belongs to the world. The people have embraced their aging, their impermanence, and in doing so, they have rediscovered the beauty of living. You often find yourself walking through the village at dusk, watching the people work together in the fields, sharing stories and laughing. The once frozen faces, now marked by the passage of time, hold expressions of joy and fulfillment. The fear of aging is gone. It's been replaced with a quiet acceptance that time is a part of the natural rhythm of life. The villagers have learned to live in the moment, to appreciate the beauty of each passing day. They no longer seek to preserve what is fleeting. They simply let life unfold. Emily, whose transformation you've watched closely, now runs the bakery with a newfound sense of purpose. She still bakes with the same warmth and care, but now there's a depth to her work. She bakes not for immortality, but for the joy of creating something that will nourish and bring people together. The bread she bakes is no longer perfect, but it is real. It is made with love, with an understanding that imperfection is what makes it beautiful. The village has learned to appreciate the small, everyday moments that make life worth living. Dr. Morrow, too, has found a new sense of purpose. The lessons she's shared with the villagers have helped them embrace the changes they are going through. She's no longer a figure of authority in the way she once was, but a guide, a friend, someone who has found peace in the passage of time. You see her in the village square, chatting with the children, her face glowing with the wisdom she's gained. She's no longer the ageless scholar she once was. She is now a woman who has lived through time and has learned to find joy in every wrinkle, every silver strand of hair. The village itself has grown. The once static landscape has transformed. New buildings have sprung up. The streets are busier, and there is a sense of movement, of change in the air. The village has embraced the rhythms of nature, and with each passing year, it becomes more vibrant, more connected. The villagers understand now that nothing stays the same forever. The beauty of life lies in its constant evolution, its impermanence. You have found a quiet peace in this transformation. The decision you made, the choice to break the cycle, has led you here at the heart of a village that is alive, full of possibility. The fear that once held you back, the fear of time and death, has faded. You've learned that death is not the enemy. It is a part of life, just as time is. The village, like the people within it, will grow, will age, and will eventually fade, but in that there is beauty. As you walk through the village one evening, the soft glow of the sunset painting the buildings in golden light, you stop at the fountain in the square. The water trickles gently, and the sound is soothing, peaceful. The village is quiet now, everyone at home, resting after a long day's work. You sit by the fountain, watching the stars begin to twinkle above, and you feel a deep sense of contentment. The village has changed, and so have you. Time, which once seemed so threatening, is now something you've learned to live with. You think back to the day you first broke the cycle, the day you chose to let time take its course. At the time, it felt like the hardest decision of your life. But now, looking back, it feels like the only choice that ever made sense. You've given the village the chance to live fully, to experience the ups and downs of life, and in doing so, you've found a deeper connection to the world around you. Emily joins you at the fountain, her steps light, her face serene. She sits beside you, her gaze directed toward the stars. "It feels like we're really living now," she says, her voice soft but full of meaning. "I never understood what it meant to be alive before, but now I do." You smile at her, feeling the same quiet understanding. We're not just existing anymore. We're really living. There's a moment of silence between you, the kind of silence that's filled with everything unspoken, the peace of knowing that life, in all its imperfection, is exactly as it's meant to be. The village is alive now. The people are living, aging, growing, and in that, there's beauty. As the night deepens and the village settles into rest, you stand, offering Emily a hand. She takes it, and together, you walk toward the heart of the village, toward a future that is no longer uncertain, but full of possibility. The stars above shine brightly, and for the first time, you understand their meaning. They are not eternal, but they burn brightly, lighting the way for all who pass beneath them. Just like the village, just like life itself. Time moves forward, and with it, the village will continue to grow, to change, to experience life in all its fullness. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. And as you walk into the night, the weight of your decision lifts from your shoulders, replaced with the lightness of knowing that the village is no longer frozen. It is alive, and so are you. Sweet dreams.